What's good, y'all? Welcome back. It's your boy Dave B. Watching Beyond Astrology, where we tap into, of course, astrology, but we also get into psychology, spirituality, all things of that kind to better know ourselves so that we can put better energy out into the world. Now, first I want to start off by saying shout out to all the Aquarius, sun, moon, ascendants. It's y'all time. We going through Aquarius season, so we're gonna break down the video just talking about some things to understand themes, energetic themes, understanding the energy of Aquarius so that we can better navigate this time period. Or this transit, should I say. We're going to dive right in, waste no time. So, when it comes to Aquarius, Aquarius is a fixed air sign, right? So it has qualities of, dealing with logic, communication, specifically within group settings, community. When we think about the 11th house, that's like the public arena, what we put on social media, the different interactions we have as far as like coworkers, networking within whatever industry you do. It's organizations and things like that, right? Aquarius is the energy kind of it's ruled by Saturn, and it's also co-ruled by Uranus. So Uranus being the outer planet, it has a light influence, but a noticeable influence, and Uranus deals with uniqueness, individuality, rebellion, kind of like that humanitarian spirit of trying to do it's kind of like a bigger picture. What's the best way to, revolutionary is kind of the word I'm looking for. So when it comes to this particular Aquarius season, we can add all those qualities to what we're experiencing, or the way in which we'll start to shift. So we'll start to shift from what Capricorn was, which was more about like planning, blueprinting, and we're shifting into execution. So this is going from one Saturn sign on the internal aspect, on the internal side, to the external side of Saturn, which is about more so executing things, delegating, right? So what's going to become more and more important is kind of like who you are associated with, what you're associated with, right? Both externally and internally. Some of y'all still haven't sorted out how y'all feel about yourselves and maybe your circumstance. So, and you haven't made sense of it. See, that was the important part of Capricorn. And it's 29 degrees Capricorn. The sun is 29 degrees Capricorn right now. So you have a little bit of an opportunity to get in on that before we completely switch gears. We go through a cusp period. So right now we're already in the cusp. So you should already kind of be seeing like if you're an individual who's kind of been on top of your game and you've been planting the right seeds, you're in a situation, or you kind of see the opportunities right now opening up for you. It's like, okay, I can walk through this door, I can walk through that door because I've made sense of my circumstance and what I'm trying to do within it. So I know what the next step is kind of intuitively. Even if you're nervous about it or you're anxious about it, that's normal. And honestly, a lot of times when you feel a little scared about something, it's actually a signal that that's probably the right thing to do. Within reason, you know what I'm saying? Not scared to do some bullshit. Like I'm talking about you're a little nervous before you dive into a new opportunity, or you about to start a new job, or you about to, you've decided you want to do something with your life, and so you're doing the first steps to that. Like let's say you wanted to make a YouTube channel. You're like, okay, I'm a little nervous on my first video. Those are good nerves versus nerves. Because like when we think of anxiety, there's two ways anxiety. Well, there's more ways, but the main two ways is like there's either something that you're getting ready to do that you haven't done before, that's a new experience that you're jumping into. It's kind of like a push. uh you should pair that with maybe a feeling of curiosity, and like let's get excited about this new experience versus the anxiety that comes from something you didn't do yet that you were supposed to do. So it's like it both come from something in the future, right? Anxiety still it comes from something in the future, but it's either something that you're getting ready to do, that you are in a, this is when you're in alignment and it's part of your path. It's like, okay, it's the next step, so what's to come. But then there's forms of anxiety that come from when you didn't do what you were supposed to in time. So you are anxious about the reckoning. You're anxious about the repercussions of not getting up and do what you was called to do at the time you was called to do it. You got scared. You got that anxious feeling that you felt when you was about to do it, but you allowed that to keep you from actually doing what you're supposed to do. So now it compounds. That's the thing about it. You got to understand some of this shit, it compounds. Um, Specifically when you know what you're supposed to be doing, but you don't act on it or you don't put it out. That stuff, that's like you know, that's when you are basically building up things that are going to make it even more difficult for you to get up the next time to do what you got to do. This is how kind of people like create ruts for themselves or create cycles where it's like, or paralysis, because it's so many things on your mind, but because you're not acting on things, you're not getting things off of your I don't even know what to call it, but you're not, you know how people even talk about closing loops. So when you say you want to do something and you set yourself up to do it, but you don't get it done, you know what I'm saying? You say, oh yeah, I'm gonna make, it's like for an artist, an example would be a bunch of unfinished songs. Like not every song got to be finished, but when you get into the habit of creating something and then only going halfway, like it's different if it's part of your strategy. Because sometimes like it's like what I do, right? When I'm recording a song, let's say I want to put a project out, or if I'm just creating, right? I'll if I find a beat I like or create a beat, it's like, okay, I'm gonna start writing to it. I might write a verse and a hook, or a hook and yeah, a verse and a hook, and I'll stop. But that's just to let the song sit and decide if I want to finish it. Versus, that's a strategy that you could take, so you don't necessarily waste time on a whole song, but you're able to get your creative ideas out enough to decide later on if you want to actually go forward with it or not. So with a verse and a hook, or a verse and two hooks, I can at least see, okay, if I want to put this on a project, I can start sequencing. It's a strategy versus sometimes like earlier on in my career, I was like trying to make a song and then I just I get two bar. I wouldn't finish the verse, or I wouldn't finish the hook yet, or it'd be, a combination of that. And so it would be a unfinished, like a open loop, basically. Same thing goes with even like, things you're trying to do with friends and plans you might have and stuff. A lot of people have a bunch of open loops, a bunch of unanswered questions, a bunch of, energy that's left undone, or things that are left open that you haven't quite, put effort to close, what I'm saying? So sometimes that can create that same level of anxiety, or, and it's like you don't notice it firsthand until you are, again, it creates ruts. It creates like you being kind of held down by things you just haven't resolved. You know what I'm saying? And resolution is you know, things being resolved, uh, that's a big thing right now in January. That's like kind of the whole point. Like we're not yet in the new year. We are in the resolving period. We're in the, transition from death to life, basically. So, this is a very important time, and it's important to be serious. Um, during these transits, like Saturn transits, or Saturn ruled transits, I should say, we have to keep in mind, like, yeah, I talk about it a lot. A lot of people talk about it like inner child and stuff like that. Like your inner child is always going to be a part of you. Always important to listen to your inner child to a degree, but you got to remember it's still a child. And it's like sometimes it's almost like you have to put it in its place. What I'm saying? Sometimes your inner child could be displaying signs of like just being too what is it, like arrogant. Too sometimes your inner child could lead you off a cliff if you don't put that raw inspiration and that raw passion and that curiosity, if you don't put it in its place, if you don't direct it, give it guidance, guidance that comes from your experience, with your experience, your life experience, and you know the understanding of the situation you're in, you know because with some of this stuff it gets kind of tricky Because if you just all love and light, all I'm just gonna be spiritual and just gonna, close my eyes and have faith, it's like we like again, there's a time and place for everything. The time we in currently is about being a little bit more serious and creating things like I was saying in the new moon video. It's like creating from neutrality, not being impulsive. Although if impulsivity, if you have an impulsive nature, understanding that about yourself to add a little bit more of a guardrail to keep you from kind of just completely jumping off the cliff. Because right now is not necessarily the time to be taking huge risks. Say some people's timelines is it requires, certain things that's, certain times that might not, might everybody's situation is different is basically what I'm saying. So if you in a situation where it that's required of you, then of course that's your journey. But for the majority, just energetically, um, because again, it kind of comes down to the type of individual you are. Some people create massive events in their life based upon how much energy they have and what they brought down with them when they came from wherever they came from. So sometimes they experience is a lot more extreme and it comes in a lot more of a sporadic kind of just in a sporadic way. But more common is right now during Aquarius season, you want to think things through a little bit. You want to kind of think again, thinking a couple steps ahead so that you can execute smoothly. We're gonna have a time to be in your faith and your imagination. That's gonna be Pisces season, but we got a whole 30 degrees before we get there. You know what I'm saying? So right now at 29 degrees Capricorn, the cusp transition is going from blueprint to execution, from blueprint to all right, let's start to get associated, right? Again, people, places, and things. So it could be the people you're around. So let's say, for instance, I do film. So I'm like, all right, let me start to contact the people I want involved in this project that I want to launch, right? So it's doing the practical things. And again, I'm only in this position because I've made sense of my circumstance. I've made sense of my situation. I've made sense of my positioning within the context of my experience. Um, that's kind of like, again, everybody's situation is different. So when you are reflecting, and especially, this is not a bad time to do it too, because we got the new moon, which provided a new awareness to what it is that you want to take responsibility for, and also awareness to what's actually real. Hopefully, you got the right view, right perspective. Um, and then what you could do with the right perspective is add the right attitude, add the right perception to it, where you start to give it the right, again, the right attitude, which is the encouragement that I would like to pass on to y'all. Like, y'all, you believe you can do it, believe you can achieve what it is that you see, you know. Again, doubting yourself not going to do you no justice. And if you've already decided somewhere in your mind and your psyche and your whatever that that's what you want, don't shortchange yourself. That's another thing too, like just message that's coming through with this energy. Don't shortchange yourself. Like try to take a shortcut to get something faster. Because a lot of times even that comes from ego or it comes from you not understanding that, like, at the end of the day, you know, you gotta there's no shortcuts. You gotta put in the work. So the work require, yes, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be difficult work, but you need to start to accept the process for what it is, not create the delusion that is some magical shortcut or cheat that can make the process faster or less because sometimes a lot of people try to shortchange Saturn and they try to uh they try to avoid sacrificing what's necessary to get what it is that is on the other side of whatever they're working towards. So again, sacrifice, I'm not talking about nothing crazy. I'm talking about your time, your attention, your focus. A lot of people are selfish and greedy with their time. So but see, they're selfish for the wrong things. They selfish for the side of themselves that needs pleasure. The side of themselves that wants pleasure. So they'll shortchange themselves, right? They know they want to experience something different in their day-to-day reality, but they just can't quite uh s- you know have they can't quite get to a point where they're willing to sacrifice a little bit of time to spend on the work. And that's the most ridiculous thing because, again, time is an illusion, but time is nothing to play with. You know what I'm saying? Like you again, and when I say time is an illusion, I mean not everything is chronological. You can create like you can speed time up just by using your mind a certain way, seeing something a certain way. You can slow time down just by using your mind a certain way. So time is like it's supposed to be another tool that we can use to our advantage. Understanding time, again, knowing what seasons we going through, understanding even down to the transits, and that's magic. That's you being able to use magic. But a lot of people shortchange themselves, or a lot of people just don't look at it that way, right? But they play with time. They what is the right word? Not play, but they take it for granted. They take time for granted. They become arrogant about how much time they really have. Life is the longest thing you'll ever do, but it's also the shortest. It's like the same at the same time. It's the longest thing you'll ever do, but it just never feel like it's enough because even down to there's never enough hours in the day. But we all got the same 24. But how is somebody able to do a lot more? How is somebody able to take 15 business meetings, jump on a plane, go here, make a song, make da 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 da? Like if you hear the stories or the if you listen to the day-to-day schedule of a person in a high agency career or who's at the top of their game and shit like that, whatever it is that they do, you hear them talk about their schedule. And it's like, had an interview 6 in the morning. I'm at this radio station. I'm at this, a video shoot, this, that. And it's like, wow. And it seems like you, a common person sitting on a couch, can't even find 2 hours in a day to write a little a script for a YouTube video, a 20-minute YouTube video. You can't find 2 hours in your day to write out a script. And it's because, again, y'all abusing time. Folks be abusing time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying words like y'all and stuff like that again to because this be me and you know what I'm saying? Again, I try to be more mindful of things like that, but again, this is a practice. Like you have to practice yourself to be able to do that because you have to also understand that things aren't necessarily designed to be easy. And that's for a reason because you have to understand that like again, everything in life is earned. Like you don't have to like not okay, so I'll say things that you want because there's things that you shouldn't have to earn, but the reality is things are earned. You have to put in the work in some capacity. So, that's just what it is. Now, getting back to this Aquarius energy. So one of the big things that we're going to experience is a change or transition of heart. The moon has already passed through the Pluto. Pluto is at 3 degrees Aquarius. So all of the energies that was in that stellium in Capricorn are going to basically one by one have to confront Pluto. And it's interesting that I was just talking about sacrifice because that's another theme of Pluto, right? Pluto, this Aquarius season is set up the way it is for a reason, right? There's going to be individuals who choose to again take that power and control, get ahead of the curve by basically destroying aspects of themselves that no longer fit the blueprint. They no longer fit protocol. Like it no longer applies to it doesn't contribute to the execution of what their goals are. Right. This is why it's important to kind of get that blueprint out in Capricorn because Pluto is gonna basically look you in your eye, sit you down, right, and screen. It's gonna be like a screening. It's gonna be like, yo, are you ready to sacrifice this, that, and the third? And the way I'm saying it might be weird or funny to some people, but the thing about it is the way Pluto operates is like the Grim Reaper type shit. It's not really a negotiation. It's an initiation. I think all of the outer planets are initiation, like initiations. So whenever we pass through with like personal planets, or planets that are closer to us, like again, especially the sun, the moon, right? The moon, because it moves so fast, it's less of it doesn't always feel as impactful or grandiose. Because the moon is a reflection, so the moon kind of moves in and out of rooms like a ghost. The moon is almost like giving you a sense of what it is, but it's not actually dealing with the physical ramifications. So it's really like the sun, Mercury, Pluto, I mean sun, Mercury, uh, Mars, Venus, et cetera, Jupiter, et cetera. Uh, so the moon gave us the emotional awareness of what it is we need to transform and what we need to change, right? And again, change is another theme of Uranus, which is co-ruling Aquarius. So just understand this, the Aquarius season it's fundamentally about change, right? Changing, but changing in a way in which you are again setting yourself up for success by acknowledging, okay, this is my blueprint. This is how I'm gonna have to again, this is what I'm gonna have to change into. But part of change is also the violence part of it, which is the rebellion against the things that you've been allowing to go on for too long with unchecked, the things that felt comfortable the previous decade. All of the stuff that felt good and good to let go on that you know in the back of your mind that probably you came to the conclusion to by now that, oh, that wasn't good. That led me to do this, that, and the third. Now, at the same time, I also speak about this is like, don't necessarily punish yourself for that. Punishing yourself for that. The ultimate punishment is to continue on with the behavior. So change, for the love of God, change, change. Easier said than done, right? The people who are going to have I'm not going to say easier time, but a more, what's the right word? I don't know the right word. People, but individual, I guess a more fulfilling experience possibly are the ones who know themselves and are already in the authority when it comes to their life and the direction of it. People who are ready and willing to take responsibility for what it is that they're building. Because a lot of times, like again, you could be the wildest creator in the world, right? And when I say creator, I mean we always creating experiences for yourself, creating reality. You could be are you taking responsibility for it though? Are you treating everything you're creating as your own? Like, are you treating it like it's a craft, or are you just kind of just going through experiences and, all over the place? You know, it's kind of like, you don't have to make something more serious than it is, but this is serious business. Life is serious business. You know what I'm saying? Life, you know, especially around this season. Because the thing about it is, it might not seem like a big deal now, but the times that we're going into, again, like everything is in progression. So some people get caught up in what's in the news and they panic, but they don't, when you're in a state of panic, you're not necessarily in a state to solve the issue. A lot of people create problems for themselves, problems on top of problems that compound because they didn't address the root. And this is a potent time because we're literally fresh start, even though we haven't started it, but this is the fresh start before we actually start. So this is where you need to know what you want your garden to look like before you start sowing your seeds, before you start, and then that's going to determine the harvest, so on and so forth. Y'all heard this before probably. But yeah, everybody gonna have to sit down one on one with Pluto. And Pluto again wants you to take the initiative on what you got to transform, and transform as in to put depth to. And it might require you to wire your mind to start to rebel against the things that you know you ain't got no business doing anymore. It's like I don't want to live like that no more. So get frustrated, get angry. You know what I'm saying? Get mad about the things that you keep on doing that you know not producing, not helping you produce the type of lifestyle you want, or produce the things within your day, within your time that you really want to get off or get done, get finished with. So, again, closing those loops, finishing those projects, whatever it is for you, whether you are a musician or whether you are a video producer, whether you are a writer, whether you are a just common person trying to buy a house or take care of your family and shit like that. There's things, and again, down to like house chores and stuff. Some of y'all ain't cleaned your house in a long time. And it's bugging you, it's in the back of your mind, but you ain't did that laundry yet. Go do that laundry. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not always the most dramatic thing, of, oh, I want to be a star, I want to be a this. Everybody do. And I'm gonna make a point to that, right? And I think it ain't Aquarius the star card. Anyway, I want to make a point to that though. I think that's beautiful, and I think the reason why everybody wants to, it seems like everybody innately just wants to be not necessarily famous, not necessarily not necessarily rich, but fulfilled. I think we only, we see the examples that we see and we cling to those models to be what we desire. But I think innately everyone desires to be what they already are, which you already are a star. You already are important. But it's just again the way society is structured it confuses you because everything is in reverse, everything is flipped, and so people develop desires for things that are not even a real thing. You desire to be a content influencer, but it's like that's not even a real desire to have because why are you desiring to influence others? And then the pathway you take to do it is by trying to sell products that you don't even use or trying to be a spokesperson for another company. Fuck that. Like, no. I think what it is we all come here with something to express. And so when again, the more and more you take the time to learn yourself, to know who you are, to figure out what that thing you enjoy to do is, the more you can dedicate time to doing that. And the reason and why, like how you invest in that becomes the way in which it becomes, how you invest in that becomes what you can then give to others and so on and so forth and stuff. I just had that random thought. But anyway, so this Aquarius season again, we're going to experience each planet go through. So first of all, we got Mercury. I think matter of fact, let me pull up the chart real quick. It's a good time to tell you, hey, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I know if you vibing with the message, you know what I'm saying? If you vibing with me, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps the channel grow, and that's what this year for me is all about, growth. Really looking to build this community up and just, I want to continue to offer things of value to the world. Literally what I was just talking about, because I think in essence that's what it's really about. That's why you chose to be an artist. That's why you said you call yourself these different things. Um, Again, the attention I guess it comes with um, the validation and all that other stuff. Like again, that pleases the ego and that makes you feel important on the surface, but the essence of it is that we all have something that we're trying to express. And so, some people figure out how to get it out in a way that other people like and it catches fast and cool. Some people have uh more of a difficult time finding the pieces of their voice, retracing the essence of what they, finding the pieces in reality to convey whatever message or expression it is that they have within themselves, so where whoever you feel like wherever you feel yourself at in your path in your journey, whoever you feel like during that journey or within that journey, it's like you just got to own it. You have to own it because the faster you own it, the faster you start to notice what makes you special and what makes you powerful within that. within that unique space. And see, that's the essence of Aquarius, uniqueness and in a certain confidence that comes from understanding, oh, I'm not like everybody else. And what I do might not always get the attention of everybody, but again, I don't you got to start to change what again, you stop desiring trying to be liked by everybody. That's not nothing to desire. I'm talking too fast, and I'm a little under the weather, if y'all can't tell. But that's not a real desire. That's not a healthy desire. See, we all come here. Desires a lot of times get people get shamed for desires. Desires get people tell you like, oh, don't desire this, don't desire that, things of the world. The truth of the matter is, we all here if you here if you manifested yourself here, you more than welcome to experience and enjoy all the things of the world. The problem comes when you get lost in them and when you create you attach desire to things that are not leading anywhere. Like, you might desire to make a lot of money, to be rich, but you know if you go deeper, you should establish a deeper desire, a desire that's a little bit deeper than just the surface level, attainable physical thing that money can bring you. Look at it like, what do I desire to do with that money? Oh, well, I want to experience this, that, whatever it is, but beneath the surface. And again, some people are more material minded. Some people are like, well, I just want the money so I could live in luxury. But this is kind of where the psychology aspect comes, because if you go deeper into, well, why is that important to you? Oh, well, I desire luxury because I didn't get to experience it when I was a kid. I seen my parents struggle, so I want to experience what that is, because you can go deeper. You know what I'm saying? And it could, the root of it, again, back to the root conversation. The root of it could be, I desire to basically give myself the things that, wasn't afforded to me at earlier stages in my life. And if I have a family or something like that, I could give them those same experiences, or the family that I still got that's living, I can offer to give them those experiences. Or some people just like, it's just for me. Whatever it is, again, I'm just giving examples of, you know, how to kind of how to contextualize some of this stuff, because money is not evil. It's not the root of evil. It's the trauma that people go through because of money. And it's the trauma that people go through that they can't quite grow through. They can't quite learn, like can't quite. And sometimes life, again, it hits you like a shotgun shell. And some people are truly fucked up, like they truly damaged. And like, again, like if you are next to those people, you know, do your part to help, as long as it don't come in the form of betraying who you are and what you need out of a situation. Because the second it becomes a form of betrayal is the second, you got to look out for yourself, because there's no rewards for sacrificing yourself. You got to keep that in mind too. You don't get no gold medal for that. And even if you did get a gold medal for that, think of it, I just sacrificed my happiness and my peace for gold. And that's, again, you lost. That's what you lost. Now, get back to this chart. So the moon passing through Pluto, again, an emotional transformation that puts things into perspective on what it is that, on your approach to your blueprint, like your approach. Saturn is strategy. Like, so it's like, what's the approach? Again, we're not in Aries yet, but Aquarius, again, everything in progression. Aquarius sextiles with Aries. So think of it like, I like to look at seasons as like aligning. So what we do in Aquarius season has the opportunity to benefit you in Aries season. Aries is about popping off and doing the thing. right now, like this is to me, this is what I would consider like quantum astrology. It's like I haven't heard nobody say nothing like that, but this to me, this is what I would consider quantum astrology to a degree, because I know quantum is some other shit. But like this to me is like, you think it's like the opportunity that I'm setting up for myself in Aries season should look like this. And if there's planets over there, you already know what you're gonna be working with. So in this case, you're working with Aries and you working with Neptune. I mean, I say Aries. You working with Saturn and you working with Neptune. So structure. Hmm. Would you look at that? Strategy, status, a little bit of responsibilities, but also restrictions. So in your approach, you should be considering, okay, if I move like this, what are some of the potential restrictions I could encounter by if I try to move like this in this space towards my goals, or if I try to build this with these individuals, what are some of the restrictions that could come from that? What are the responsibilities I would have to assume if I were to go full force with my plan? What would look like, what would I need to take responsibility for? What would I need to restrict from myself? So that could be habits, that could be thoughts, that could be feelings, et cetera, et cetera. What do I need to restrict to keep me on pace, on path? It could literally clean that house. I'm telling you, clean that kitchen. You got a dishwasher. I know you don't like to use it because grandmama told you not to use it. But if that's gonna help you clean the house, use that dishwasher with no shame. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of them shaming shaming us. We be feeling ashamed of using appliances and shit like that. Man, come use that dishwasher if it's gonna help. You know, I'm just messing. But opportunities. Think about like again, structure, building. How can I utilize my time better to kind of set me up to already be in full emotion, full force? Systems, perfect example. Systems, systematic thinking. Again, this is a beautiful time for critical thinking. That's why blueprinting and then having a blueprint or a vision board, even you might not, you might have other words for a vision board or a goals for the year, whatever it is. But being able to think critically, think through, okay, the execution of it. Like, okay, how can I maybe even reverse engineer? If this is what I want, okay, let's trace it back to where I'm at now. If this is where I want to be at the end of the year or this time next year, let me trace it back. This is where I want to be 10 years. This year, within the context of that 10 years, okay, let me trace it back. Get what I'm saying? Again, and you don't have to try to do the 10-year plan. Just do what the plan makes sense to you. Some people can only think a month in ahead, a month ahead. Some people, what I'm saying, it's like, man, it just might be a week. So do whatever it's gonna take, whatever your methodology is, or whatever you think is best. Because some people be like, I don't want to plan that far ahead. Because I agree with you. You plan, man plans, God laugh. I agree with that. Boy, I'm a Pisces sun, Leo moon, Scorpio ascendant. You know what I'm saying? But late degree, so it kind of low key be on some Sagittarius ascendant shit as far as the house placements. Planning is like, I'd be like, a plan. The plan is the experience. The plan is how I feel that day. But but I've learned how to incorporate at least a frame of reference to be able to map something out and to create, I've learned how to plan for myself what makes sense to me. Meaning, kind of like a script that's improvisation for a script, a movie scene, right? Where it's not just me making up a bunch of random shit on the spot, but there's a scene structure. There's certain lines we got to say to move the scene forward. I just make sure I know those, but for the most part, there's no lines. I am improvising, but I know what the scene looks like and what line I need to progress to the next. So that's how I make plans. I make plans like outlines. Okay, these are the key bullet points. We just gonna understand you know what I'm saying? So stuff like that. But some people might actually, some people have different ways of how their mind is wired. They got different powers. Like a person who got like some real good Virgo energy, the opposite to my son, they might be able to write every detail of every little event that's finna happen and actually execute that shit. Bravo. Me, anytime I try to get too detailed, it don't go that way. And it throw me off a little bit. But anyway, this ain't about me. This ain't about me. It's about y'all. So, uh, again, Venus gonna pass through. So when Venus passed through, that's gonna start to be. I was kind of talking about that already. Venus is mad close already, so it's already feeling those influences. So Venus is coming first. Our wants should transform. Our habits. Great time for getting rid of the bad habits, the things that you are addicted to, because what we like and what feels good, a lot of times becomes our downfall. It's like a femme fatale, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't, be mindful of that. That's the first thing that probably got to transform, the things that are pleasurable. What you want, like I was saying earlier, sacrifice a little bit of time for some extra focus to what you really want, not what feels good right now, like a phone, scrolling, whatever you be doing on that phone. You know what I'm saying? That's your business is your business. But that shit keeping you away from what you actually want. A desire that's fulfilling. Again, the root of it, not the surface level. Again, the fuck, because if you only operating off of the surface level, you're not even gonna have enough focus to truly get the full experience of anything you try to go for, right? Next up, we got the sun. Well, really, we got Mercury. Uh, Mercury probably gonna pass through faster. I would skip ahead to look, but I don't feel like doing all that. But Mercury, so the way we think got to transform. You got to start thinking differently. You got to start communicating differently as well, or communicating more unique to yourself. You need to start developing unique thoughts. So, excuse me. That's the real thing with Mercury and Aquarius, and these are my alignments: Venus in Aquarius and Mercury in Aquarius. You need to start thinking unique thoughts, thinking for yourself, thinking your own way through a situation. Stop taking so much advice. Stop watching so many videos of people telling you what you should be doing or how you should do something or what this looks like when it's done right. You need to start cultivating your own pathway in navigating these different things. Again, go back to my influencer point. Nowadays, everybody want to be a content creator to teach you how to create content while they create content. Like what? Like, why don't you take some time to think about like what you would produce content on and then just produce that instead of trying to go the route of, okay, I'm a content creator, so the content I'm gonna make is teaching other people how to make content. Like, and I feel you because it's like, again, there's some things that I feel are so tied to human nature. Like there's a part of human nature that wants to teach what we know. Understandable. But, you know, think it through a little bit. We got to think some we got to think some of these things through. My water all the way over there. We got to think some of these things through. You know what I'm saying? Being an influencer, it's like you ain't influencing nothing. You just trying to sell a product. That don't work. Content creator, same deal. You a content creator, but you creating content just to sell a product. No, why don't you sit with yourself long enough to think about what you want to create and be, what I'm saying, like the artistry, the craft of what this is what's like bothering people. It's not that again, do what you do what you want, but the integrity, uh taste, these are things that are kind of like the key uh themes or the key like if you want to know what to focus on to be successful in this time of AI and all the other stuff going on, it's integrity, it's taste, discernment, and uh I want to say authority. Yeah. but authority in the sense of like, maybe authenticity might be better, right? But it's those are like some of the themes. If you think of an extra one, go ahead, drop that in the comments. But like these are the things that's actually gonna push you forward. And like these are the things that's gonna make sure that you are here to stay, that are going to create longevity for you. And see, if you pay attention to what Juno is always showing us what's longevity, what represents longevity at the moment. And that's all Capricorn energy: integrity, authority, authenticity, uh, taste. You know, Capricorn's got beautiful taste. Venus and Capricorn, what? Curator. Like, you know what I'm saying? Exquisite taste. Uh, and they'll drop a bag on what's actually quality. But those are the things that's going to represent longevity at the time, at the moment, right? Uh, what's going to create anxiety right now is just taking that leap of faith. But anyway, I spoke about that a little bit in the new moon video. But so how we think got to transform. We got to start thinking for ourselves, think differently if you haven't already. Mars is going to be the last one, it looks like, right? So when Mars gets there, uh, again, this is the part, and when I'm talking about when it confronts Pluto, uh, you're gonna have to change either your approach to. I kind of feel like with Mars, because see, Mars and Pluto have a relationship. We can look at Scorpio to understand what Mars and Pluto talk about. So Mars's conversation with Pluto is a bit different. Everybody else is more about, changing things and kind of having to be on their best behavior. I feel like Mars and Pluto, although it is still about change, Mars and Pluto, Mars is like the executioner. So Mars is actually coming to Pluto to figure out what the next like mission is. And so Mars is about to be the enforcer of that change that all the other planets are like considering and having to kind of agree with. Mars has got to come in and be like, no, are we actually, no, we actually done with that. We actually putting it into that. We actually not doing that no more. We actually going this direction. We actually putting willpower into this. So that's how Mars got to move. Mars got to more so move like it done been through some shit. I don't know. Something about Mars to me, it's like it been through some shit right now. So Mars is coming in as the enforcer to make to push everything forward, to make sure things are staying on commitment. And again, this doesn't mean that in your actual life you won't have moments of weakness, but in those moments of weakness, get frustrated. Use anger, aggression, frustration to snap you into focus and be like, oh no, I gotta do this because of what I'm passionate about. And again, it don't gotta be toxic. I'm not talking about toxic Mars expression. So be mindful of you taking your aggression out on people that don't deserve it because you know you're not doing what you're supposed to do. That's gonna happen a lot too. You'll have a lot of people just kind of trying to, you know, puff their chest out, create chaos. That's another thing too. Be mindful of who just here to create chaos. What I'm saying, stay away from those people. If you one of those people who likes to create chaos, um, for y'all, I don't even know how to advise y'all. Like, but if you are a person who like to create chaos, like you need to figure that out. You need to figure out why. Why am I like this? Because what's going on? Like, it is what it is, though. Everybody, hey, everything is everything. But yeah, for real. Be mindful of who here just to create chaos. Like I say this, if you a person who just like to create chaos, like that's your thing, then it ain't really much to tell you because that's what you doing what you want to do. And so, you know, what can I say? But people who actually trying to build something else, people who want peace in their life, be mindful. Like there's a lot of people right now who are on straight bullshit just because they want to be. So, just Be mindful of that and stay, stay in your lane, stay in your space where you belong. Don't get too caught up in the mix with folks with energy that don't really coincide with what you're trying to build. Again, back to associations. Um, and again, associating with the right mentalities too. Like that's a big thing. But I already said that. Now, some of the more outward alignments we got, of course, Jupiter in conjunct the stellium. Well, you know what? These are yeah, you got an in conjunction with Jupiter, right? So misunderstanding wisdom, misunderstanding even what to believe. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be a time for more so experimentation, learning. Things will reveal themselves to you probably in Pisces season, but for right now, we just need to be willing to experiment and put ourselves out there and commit to the things that we want to accomplish, and take it serious, take ourselves serious. And again, being so serious that we don't let nobody in our circumference or who want to be in our circumference play with us. Period. Period on that. Uh, yeah, squaring with Uranus, that's gonna be later. Not so much now, but there's gonna be things to learn with how we wanna what we should value from what we experience here. That'll be later in the season. And then yeah, again, I sextile with these energies, right? So rest being the energy of what we need to take responsibility for. So we need to take responsibility for our independence, our individuality, and our idea, our crops that we want to plant or our seeds that we want to plant in the spring, our plans. In Chiron, we have to not only take responsibility for our own healing, but there's an opportunity to kind of heal through understanding what the process is and what it's going to be about. So, yeah, that's the major things for the most part. So yeah, Aquarius season, man, this is gonna be a time. We got we got eclipse season coming up, and that's gonna be the final clearing out of whatever snake was teaching you, the year of the snake. That's clearing that up. So again, be open to the new lessons. Stay focused on what it is you're trying to see for your life. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught up in people trying to tell you it's the end of the world. Don't get caught up in people bringing negative, lethargic energy towards you. Don't get caught up in none of that. Stay focused on what it is you're trying to build. And again, believe in that. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Learn from yourself. Think for yourself. What is aligned with me? Keep that on the forefront of your mind. Like, what is in alignment with me? Even when referencing your blueprint. And when you design your blueprint, you be like, okay, this the plan, this my approach. Check in with yourself periodically. Does it still align? Because we change. A lot of things change. Life change. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things could go uh this way, that way, and just put, again, like this is the process. This is the work. So, we all gonna be good. We all gonna make it to where we going. So anyway, like I said before, if you're looking to get a reading, make sure you email me, davebeyond95@gmail.com with astrology help in the subject line, and I can get right to you with a personalized reading on whatever it is that you're looking to get a reading for. Just let me know. Also, make sure you like, subscribe. If you haven't already, drop a comment and let me know how you feel about the video. Let me know how you feeling about Aquarius season. If you are an Aquarius, shout out to you. Drop it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get a birthday shout out, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, much love, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.